It's time to fire up this review. I am Brett, your host from the Brett's Review Show. I just got done watching a pretty damn good, interesting anime. And I say it's interesting because you really have to think about it and you have to really understand it. It's called Harmony. You don't find out what the meaning of the title is until towards the middle or towards the end of it. But basically, in this anime, you got like a futuristic world, like everything's become digital. Everything. Books are out of the question. You get augmented, enabling you, they don't give you like, oh, super strength, all this and that. No. You're able to connect to the internet, connect with the world through the internet. And, oh yeah, paper money is also gone. And I say this is interesting because how it starts out, you see a tower, and you got like a white cellular structure in the background. All these little cells surrounding one little tower. And this tower's like, yeah. And you see codes. And it's pretty interesting because you also got little subtitles, but then you get a voiceover. And it's from the main character, Tuan Kirie. She's a beautiful redheaded woman, and basically you see things through her perspective. And it's not, and you see her, like she basically hates the world as it is. She does not like it. She kind of got that rebel kind of flow in what would be, or what possibly looks to be, a complete utopia. Everyone pretty much has no beef with one another. There's no murder, there's no nothing, no crime, no suicides, nothing. Everybody's happy as can be. But there's also, what I mean about being augmented, is that you get augmented with what's called the Watchman when you're born. And what happens is, when you become a working adult, it decides. The program, or whatever else behind the program, decides what you look like, what your body structure is, what your blood type is. Your physical structure, like if you're fat, you're skinny, you're ripped, or if you're a woman, the same thing. And if you got your breast sizes and all that, I'm just trying to explain it, so don't take things the wrong way of how it was somewhat explained in the movie. But there's another thing about it too. But when you start, there's a little what WTF kind of moment. You see sunflowers, and you see a girl with bluish white hair, mainly kind of got like that little grayish blue kind of look, and she's talking. And she turns and looks to you, as even though she's actually looking at Tuan Kirie, she says, "Come on, die with me. Let's die together." And she hands you 3 pills. But she's actually got another friend called Sion. And these 3 made a declaration. They made a pact that they would kill themselves, commit suicide, against this so-called utopia world, where they kill you with kindness, like this girl Mihawk, which is the white-haired girl, was talking about. And in this WTF kind of moment, you see the main character, Tuan Kirie. She's sitting on what used to be like a tanker, a small tank or whatever, and you see sunflowers. And she's talking to herself, speaking her own opinion about the world, how she escaped from everything, wanting to forget what happened 10 or 13 years before when she tried to kill herself. Her and her friends tried to kill themselves. And then she's part of an expector, part of a group. But she's doing deals. She makes deals with other countries, such as wine or alcohol and cigarettes, and trading for health. Like medication, basically, with another group of people who refuse to get augmented. With the full Watchmen. They just want the medical type. And you get a little action after that WTF moment, like why the hell you got sunflowers and you got the Sahara Desert right next door. Like opposite worlds. You got peaceful sunflowers, and you got harsh sand, hot as heck Sahara Desert over here. And like I said, it's a good, interesting anime, and you try to understand, like, why does she hate this world? Why is she so rebellious to it? Why is she so rebellious to her higher-ups, her bosses at work? Well, mainly one boss. But she, basically she gets caught, when making these deals, and she gets sent home, and she meets her friend Sion, who basically jumped headfirst in this peaceful utopia world where society basically tells you how to live, how to eat, how to do everything that you should be willingly be able to do yourself without someone telling you to do so. Say if you wanted to read a book, but yet society says a book isn't worthy. Saying if you want to eat salad, and society thinks, no, a cheeseburger. You kind of understand what I'm trying to explain. It's like society tells you how to live. And that's basically what Mihawk, Sion, and Tuan were actually fighting against. They were fighting against society because they didn't want to feel controlled. How I feel about the anime, that's kind of how it is. That's kind of how I understood it, is that they don't want to feel controlled. They don't want society to tell them how to live. I was like, oh, you take a bite to eat, and you get this little click in your head that says, make sure you chew thoroughly. Why do you need something to tell you to do that? Oh, you're in pain. Go get medical attention. Why do you need something to tell you? If you see that you're in pain, hell, do something about it. Hey, you got a cut? Fix it up. Get it taken care of. You don't need some kind of program telling you you're hurt and telling you what you need to do. And another thing about this augmented program, the Watchmen, it also prevents you from aging. It can stop you from aging. I mean, there's some characters in there that looked like, oh, they're around their 50s, and then they admit their age is 72. I was like, wow, cool, but kind of weird. And basically what happens is after Tuan meets her friend Sion, they're having dinner, they're talking about the past, and Sion admits something, and then something happens. A sudden silence happens between the two of them. A waitress comes up, asks Tuan, you want some more water? Sure, I'll have some more water. Then all of a sudden, she hears a little, camera goes to the glass that's completely full of water now, and all of a sudden a drop of red falls in it. And she's like, huh? She looks at it, then she looks at the waitress, and she's like covered in blood, and she's like freaking out. She turns and looks towards her friend, which is sitting across from her, and her friend took a knife from the table and plunged it into her neck. She committed suicide. All you could hear is, I'm sorry, Mihawk. I'm sorry, Mihawk. I'm sorry. And then all of a sudden, 27 or more people, or thousands of people, committed suicide. They just out and killed themselves. Now, all of a sudden, due to fear, everyone's like, what do we do? What happens? I don't know what to do. And you got these higher ups, her bosses, these inspectors, these health inspectors, or some, like try to, you know, oh, we're only trying to protect life, that sort of thing. And it's only for your own opinion, so go ahead and watch it, because I just bought this yesterday. I either bought it at Walmart or Best Buy, so check it out. And you don't really see her freak out at all. Tuan just seems very calm, and then all of a sudden, you see her relive that moment of her friend taking her own life, and then she just like acts so coldly about it. But then you get towards the middle part where she meets a so-called Interpol agent trying to, basically if you listen to him, he's trying to bullshit her. Oops, I cussed him. He's trying to set her up, and she figured it out. So she's looking for Mihawk, actually, because Mihawk was supposedly dead. She's been taking these pills that prevent your body from absorbing nutrients, so your organs will eventually shut down one by one, and that's how she supposedly died. But her body was supposed to be donated for science. But what happens is Tuan's father, who happens to be a scientist, a neuroscientist, decides to take the remains, Mihawk's remains, and do a little harmony project with her and run some tests with Mihawk, who has a strong will. And when you guys watch Harmony, the animated movie, you guys would understand what I'm meaning. The Harmony Project is that you take something and you remove its soul. So look at all of us now. We all have everyone has a human soul. It can either be tamed by darkness or by good. Either way, you have to choose right and wrong. You have a consciousness. But what if someone was born, or a certain group of people, villagers, were born without a consciousness? Were born without what's so-called a human soul? Mihawk was from that world. Let's say a Russian army, how they explained it, had attacked their village, took all the women and prostitutes. Mihawk's been down a dark road. I shouldn't have to explain that. When wars were going on back then, women were taken as trophies, but I shouldn't have to explain that. But she, during the Harmony program, she felt like she was before the Russian army had, and this is all in the movie, had attacked her village. She had no consciousness. She was born without one, that she felt so much better than she did with one. Being able to feel pain, feel fear, happiness, love, all of that. And basically, there was some kind of problem with the Harmony Project program, is that it's the exact thing with what I was saying. You take the consciousness away, you take away a human soul, and leave them. Another good way of explaining this is in Supernatural. Five or six. Sam Winchester, reappears, but he doesn't. They find out later he doesn't have a soul. He doesn't have a consciousness. He feels no pain, no nothing. He's just very confident that everything will succeed and all that. That's another way of explaining it. I mean, you see how mysterious Sam would act, and all of a sudden, you see, you know, basically that. You take away a human soul, they feel nothing. They and you get towards the middle part where Tuan meets her father. You know, all this thing about Tuan's investigation, what going to Baghdad in the movie. She meets a scientist. She talks to her, and then all of a sudden that sparks interest in her father for her father to get her attention. So he meets with her at the river, and they talk. During a science project, he got a scar on his left side, and he was blind in this eye by the looks of it, and he's got white hair, and a white streak of hair here. And he explains to her everything from after that moment where those three had tried to commit suicide, and what happened when he took Mihawk's remains for the Harmony Project. So he was basically the main creator of the program, and he ends up dying. Tuan's father, dies protecting her when the so-called Interpol agent actually tries to, in actuality, the guy says, I'm only supposed to kill him if I had to. And he's talking about Tuan's father. But the thing is, the guy was only after Tuan's father and wanting to take him away so that he couldn't do anything to stop these new government deals, this new organization to give humanity a restart. That's what the whole Harmony program is, a restart to humanity, to keep humanity's bestiality down, keep it controlled. And it's pretty interesting, to say the least. And I actually quite enjoyed it. And what happens is she does end up killing the Interpol agent, the so-called Interpol agent, a double agent. And she basically, in your mind, she wants revenge. So she's going to go after Mihawk, but she has to find her. So she's going to, I guess it was Chile or Chichol or something. Whatever. She goes to where she finds out where Mihawk is, and she goes and finds her. And she goes to a building, the exact building where Mihawk was took after the Russian army had taken her from her village after they attacked it. And she thoroughly explained what happened to her there. Where they took the women in there, they raped them. She was 8 years old. 8 years old. Just think about that. I ain't gonna explain it, but think about that. I mean, I'm not going to explain it. I'm going to let you guys watch the movie to understand what, what the movie's about. This is just my review. I give this one an interesting anime an 8 out of 10. And it lets you think about it. It gets you thinking. I mean, some of the things pointed out is true and are understandable, but there is some kind of girl-on-girl kind of action in there. I'm just going to have to point that out. Some little girl-on-girl innuendo. There's no actual, there's a shower scene, yes, so there is, but it's blacked out, black, but yet you can still see something, so I'm just going to have to point that out. But I'm not saying, just watch it for that. No, there's no actual true nudity to who this. It's just, you like any other show, you get a nudity scene. Nothing really truly shown, it's kind of blacked out or off camera, but and between Tuan and Mihawk, that's the kind of girl on girl kind of thing. What I'm saying here is that their relationship kind of maybe grew, and like they had a deeper connection than maybe a friendship, or kind of like how Tuan had explained it, a kindred spirit. Friends, they're a companion for life. A kindred spirit is more of someone having or something having the same feelings towards something that you do. Say if I hate the color black and I have a friend who also hates the color black, we have something in common. Or we hate all the drama bullcrap. That's something similar. That's something we have in common. You know what I'm saying? But this is a pretty good, interesting anime, and I'd like you guys to watch it. And let me I'm sorry. Let me know what your thoughts about it in the comments down below. Like, comment, subscribe for more. Just go ahead and throw that out there. But watch the time here. I mean, I find the characters, like the whole VAG voice acting, they did a pretty good job. And if you can't find a DVD, go on Funimation.com, www.funimation.com. No, they're not telling me to say that, or paying me to say that, or whatsoever. But if you're interested in anime and you are just wanting to get into anime, this Funimation's one place to go. Watch and maybe find some interesting anime that interests you. Or I'll stay up on Saturday night and watch Toonami. But anyway, guys, time to cool down and look forward for the next review. Peace.